Hey there, it's Ask the Author Friday. I'm your host. I'm Kent Brindley. Ask the Author Friday. Most of you following this page know that I'm a local author, self-published at the moment, from South Haven, Michigan. Fridays are my chance to have a fireside chat with you guys. Fans and family and friends. If you want to participate in this content, you can feel free to hit the comment section, throw me a couple of questions for coming weeks. If you enjoy this content, feel free to subscribe. Here we go. Yeah. Alphabet soup. Now, the NCAA. Okay. NCAA. March Madness is behind us. Congratulations to UConn for winning the men's basketball championship title, and to LSU for winning the women's title. Very good. I think a lot of people are pretty much basketballed out right now, unless you're really into that. In which case, college basketball comes back next winter. The men's college basketball March Madness tournament has always had quite a following. There's always been a lot of interest in filling out brackets and seeing how you perform. I had Texas winning. I had Texas taking it all. And up until the Elite Eight, I had 3 of the Final 4 teams correct. And by the end of the Elite Eight, only UConn was in the Final 4 for me. San Diego State put up quite a fight, but UConn prevailed. Iowa Hawkeyes, again, stellar season for the ladies, and LSU took the crown. They didn't take the crown without a little bit of controversy from one of the players. A little bit of controversy from the back and forth between 2 of the players, and I'll get back to that in a second. I honestly think that the women's tournament deserved a little more fanfare. To wit, they should have probably had their tournament on a different weekend from the guys. ESPN did as much as they could to really promote the women's championship tournament. In fact, ESPN did everything in their power to carry a vast majority of the games. But people just naturally knew where to look for the men's games on CBS, TNT, True TV, TBS, this, that, the other place. All that I know for sure is that at least one of the ESPNs tried to carry the women's games, and I don't know about any of the others. You can make a case that women's basketball deserves a bigger following, and I hate to say it, but it probably shouldn't conflict with the men's championship tournament those weekends. They deserve to be seen. back to the controversy between LSU and Iowa. There was a whole lot of taunting going on from the champion to the runner-up in that game. I mean, one of the players on the champion team marched right up to one of the runner-ups, may or may not have mouthed a not particularly kind word to her, and visibly mocked her, visibly taunted her. You don't want that kind of controversy overshadowing what should be a great moment for you and for your team. That brings up the case where, well, what about the woman from Iowa? The woman from LSU was just copying exactly the same thing that she did. There was no evidence that the woman from Iowa marched right up and got in the face of one of the opposing players to do that. I'll do it. I'll just do it. She did this thing, and the young lady from Iowa did this thing, and then went into the huddle to celebrate with her teammates. There's no evidence that she marched right up into the face of one of the poor opponents whom she had just sorely vanquished and started taunting them to their face. Does it make it right that simply because I don't believe she was doing that directly in the face of who she was playing against? You be the judge. Can you see me? You can't see me? Now I'm going to explain where that even came from. Cena. Between John Cena and Daniel Bryan, that was about the last time I really watched WWE. I'll still play the games, but I'm not watching the franchise anymore. Cena will be a Hall of Famer someday. His career has spanned a good 20 years. A very colorful career. He made this thing and Can't See Me a household name. He apparently has the power to be invisible just by doing this thing, despite wearing the most garish and colorful t-shirts, hats, matching armbands that any man could possibly find. I'm sorry. Much respect to John Cena. Again, he was one of the last superstars who I could really put up with rooting for, at least on the men's side. But The Rock had it right. The Rock had it right when he directly pointed out that the WWE has gone from Hulkamania is going to go wild to Austin 3:16 to if you smell what The Rock is cooking to you can't see me. What? Let's see how far we've fallen here. Yeah, The Rock had it right when he called out John Cena, and that was about 12 years ago. Dang. Let's have some more fun. The name game. How do you name your characters? How do I name my characters? I well, if it's based on Earth, if it's general fiction and based on Earth, I give them a fairly common first name. I might have a little fun with the last name, and then I hope I can keep all of the first names straight, let alone all of the last names. I hope I can keep what I settled on straight, especially in a story with obviously more than one or two characters, with a whole community behind them. Sometimes I'll have a little bit of fun with a character's name. Once in a very great while, make it memorable for myself. Have a lot of fun with that. But it does come from up here. Now, for sci-fi fantasy, it's all fun all the way. And it definitely makes it complicated to keep track of who is named what. How do you get a good word sprint going? A nice soliloquy, a great dialogue, or an even better argument. Pretty soon I'm not even looking at the clock, I'm just letting my fingers fly, and cleaning up dialogue comes in the editing process. Right now, I've got a good word sprint going, and I'm enjoying it. I'm happy. What is the toughest thing about writing characters? Aside from keeping their names straight when you the author have too many of them in one sitting, making them memorable, character development, not letting them go flat or wooden. Or in the case of trying to cross cultures, stereotypical. Yeah, stereotyping is not good. No. But, yeah, also not a fan of flat or wooden characters. That they need to have some depth to them, some development, and the good guys aren't always good, the bad guys aren't always bad. Despite what I write for fan fiction, I'm not, for instance, writing He-Man or G.I. Joe. I'm trying to make that publishable. No. The good guys are not always good, and the bad guys are not always pure evil. And that can be difficult to remember when writing characters. Captain Marvel versus Captain Marvel versus Shazam. Captain Marvel versus Shazam. Here we go. This is how I knew that Shazam was even a franchise. Never read the comics. This is how I knew that Shazam was ever even a franchise. Albeit it was on VHS at the time and not a Blu-ray case. Even I know that Shazam is a magic word. It's an acronym for the gods. Captain Marvel is a person, albeit DC's Captain Marvel is a person, and therein lies Shazam versus Captain Marvel. The running gag in Shazam is that they could not call his character Captain Marvel. And that gag got very tired very soon, very quickly. Here's why. Captain Marvel was the Marvel Cinematic Universe's movie maybe a couple months before the DC Cinematic Universe made the first Shazam. And in the comics, it was the other way around. DC had come up with Captain Marvel before Marvel came along and went, but we're the Marvel company. Alright. Captain Marvel versus Shazam. Let's also look at how Brie Larson and Zachary Levi, respectively, treated their press tours for their films. How they behaved during their press tours, and how they treated their co-stars. Or how they spoke about their co-stars. For instance, in the case of Brie Larson, it was talking about the other Avengers. Sorry. A stuck-up and arrogant actor or actress, for whatever the case may be, can really tank the idea of a movie character for me. See also Chris Evans' Lightyear. Albeit that Lightyear was made for children in the first place, but... If you're going to insult your co-stars, and you're going to insult your target demographic, when the movie tanks because of your behavior, and then you blame your target demographic for not going to see the movies, what do you have left? I'm going with Shazam. And I still think that it's just goofy that they call his character everything but Captain Marvel. And maybe the end of Shazam 2 had it right, when he finally asks the wizard up front. If you're not going to call him Captain Marvel, you can call him Shazam. Just say that his name's Shazam now. This has been Ask the Author Friday. If you have any questions for future weeks, feel free to hit the comment section. If you enjoy this content, feel free to subscribe.